Hello, and welcome to the Gaia update for the September Equinox 2021. I'm Adrienne Elise. Well, this equinox speaks to everything that we are dealing with on all levels. All planets involved in this dance, speaking to us with very powerful messages about the time that we're in. Are you feeling it? Wow. So equinox is a shift of ages. It's where we have equal day and equal night. I mean, a shift of seasons, equal day, equal night. But this shift of seasons is really about the shift of ages. The ascension energies are increasing. There's very powerful energies available to us, but this is also causing a rapid cleansing in our field. So be aware that of the dynamics of the time. And let's talk to the planets and stars and get the messages here about what's going on. The main energy is that Mercury slowing down in Libra, getting ready to take a retrograde on the 27th. This feels like our reality is grinding to a halt. And indeed it is. What's been going on is a systematic and glorious demolition of the old systems of our world. It's like we can't move forward with any of that old rot in the foundation. You know, we've got to build on a clean foundation. And so we're going to be seeing more and more out in the public and in the media evidence. And you can see it now if you're looking, if you have ears to hear, eyes to see. The systems of our world are being de-evolved to a place where it's almost like it's got to be taken apart in order, because, we can't just put a Band-Aid on that shit, right? We got to completely redo it. Isn't it time for our world to be right again? The world we deserve. Wait, do we deserve it? Like, is this a big part of what's going on? Because for this equinox, we've got Venus in exact opposition to Uranus and Taurus. Now, Uranus and Taurus Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. Uranus in Taurus is speaking to a revolution. It's a revolutionary planet. It's about sudden, unexpected change, vibrational frequencies, future technology, ancient wisdom, the higher self. But in Taurus, we're speaking to wealth. And the true energy of wealth is around self-worth. Like, do we deserve it? Do we feel worthy? The issues of the feminine, Venus is the ruler of Taurus, in this low self-worth. But this is all of humanity, right? It's like we're so used to poverty and being stolen from that, like, can we have it any other way? So where did we get this low self-worth programming? And maybe this is the mystery that is being resolved, the collective low self-worth being healed by the awareness and the intention and the presence of the supernova souls. Because this is a huge issue for supernova souls. Because the true power in our world, the true power of our world, if we look at it metaphorically to energy, which that's energy, power, we know it's all the same. There's a feminine form of energy, electricity, that is free energy. We know is available. We know this technology is available, but we know it's also been withheld from humanity. And that free energy is a feminine form of electricity, meaning perpetual motion. So, just looking at this hidden technology, you said, oh, no, we want to control humanity. Let's push that stuff through wires and charge them for it. Even though we literally could plug our devices into our own energy field, Very deliberate design to keep humanity disempowered. No wonder we have such low self-worth, but think about this, because it's like the hidden technology of free energy is exactly the hidden technology of the feminine. The most advanced cultures on Earth weren't matriarchal, but the energy of the ancient technologies that are more advanced than our technology we have now. I mean, we have them, they've just been withheld from us, right? But like, say, going back to Atlantean time, that the story is that we misused our technology. Well, the elite, a few people misused it, right? And we as advanced souls who have access to this technology right in our very own body and energetic field and our intuitive system, have taken the blame for this, holding the shame and the blame, and then allowing ourselves to be persecuted and abused as the pure representation of the light through the Piscean age. Now, so now we know that the power, the true power, it's not just the feminine, right? It's like you got to have a perfect balance of the masculine and feminine, because yes, there's that perpetual motion, the constant regeneration, and demonstrated to us in our living, breathing example of the great mother energy, our Earth, our planet or donut or whatever it is we're on, Turtle Island, but that you have to have the masculine spark to get the perpetual motion going, right? So it's not that it's just the feminine or whatever. We have to have that perfect balance if we're going to use our power. But the intuitive power that's been hidden and buried under the rubble. So the Atlantean mystery is really like, it wasn't about the misuse of technology. It was, but that was by a very few and dark forces, that same ones we're working against today to try to take back our world. But the fact that it was hidden, the intuitive power, right? So those supernova souls with the most low self-worth and the most difficult time and the really intense energy of like things working against you have the most intuitive power. The Atlantean catastrophes were about hiding this technology so humanity could never come back into our power. But guess who brought this technology? And maybe this is why we carry this in our field. Because this technology came as a true expression in the human body. Now, this technology, when it's used in the body with alignment with the sacred heart, cosmic heart chakra, it cannot be misused. The Atlantean time, it was misused because it was used outside of the body with devices. And so there's just deep mysteries unfolding. And the missing piece and the hidden technology is this intuition right here in our body. And it's that intuition and emotional awareness that's also been so persecuted and hidden and covered in shame. But it just don't stick, You can throw all you want at it. It just ultimately, the purity of that just doesn't stick. And this is where we're at. The righteousness, the truth wins again, So with Venus and Scorpio in this powerful square, because leading up to the equinox, we've got a Pisces full moon, very powerful, speaking to at 28 degrees Pisces, 2 days before this equinox, speaking to that this shift of ages and this shift of season is about resolving the issues of the Piscean age. It's that feminine persecution of the healer, which is persecution of the feminine, of the true light. This medical tyranny situation it's really exposing this whole story, right? And so, but it's speaking that we've got to listen to that voice of the feminine inside of us in order to come back into our full power and potential. And that means facing the darkness. And we know again and again, come back to this full circle, we can't get anywhere until we face the lies and the deception, and this is what's coming. And we're all waiting on this. But you are the lies that you've held in your heart and the false personality constructs and stories and attack and trauma and victimization, that's all coming to be resolved as well. Because you cannot have a revelation of the dark into the light without a revelation of the light into the light. And so this is what this astrology is speaking to. And we've got some help in this. We've got this Mercury in square to Pluto. And this starts, we start feeling this on the 18th. And we will feel that Mercury square Pluto all the way into October, the first week of October. So 3 full weeks of Mercury square Pluto, and as Mercury turns retrograde in Libra. But Mercury will also be trining up with Jupiter. Now, Jupiter in Aquarius is speaking to expanding into the Aquarian age. Everything this whole year goes back to that greater conjunction that happened between Saturn and Jupiter in December of 2020. And it's about how do we move into this Aquarian age, because they came together in Capricorn and moved over into Aquarius together. And so it's also the first greater conjunction. That's what the definition of a greater conjunction is when the conjunctions of Saturn and Jupiter change signs. So for about 200 years or so, they've been in earth signs, and now we're moving into the air. So there's a lot of messages around this, because we've got Mercury tension up against the wall with the false authority structures that have been keeping us from our own autonomy and our power. But then in a beautiful trine with Jupiter. So this Mercury trine Jupiter will happen 3 times, and it will be exact for the first time for this equinox. And really powerful messages here. 3 times. This is because Mercury turns retrograde, so it's a 3 passes, and that really casts a spell and puts it into zone, so to speak. And this Mercury trine Jupiter is saying, how do we expand into the new age, into the Aquarian age? And Mercury says, we're gonna need... Well, it's a trine, so it's about how to do it harmoniously. But Mercury is saying, well, this is the deal. It's like Libra, wants harmony so bad, wants peace, wants to keep the peace, but at what cost, And so the Pluto square is like, yeah, we can't fake it anymore, We thought we were free, and we're actually totally slaves, and we're seeing it. And if we don't stop it now, there is no hope for the future of humanity, right? But Mercury trine Jupiter is saying it's justice. And how do we get to justice? We got to have truth. So it's truth and justice that are going to lead us into the Aquarian age. There's no other way. But Mercury trine Jupiter says we can do this. We can expand harmoniously into the new age. And so Mercury in Libra in trine to Jupiter in Aquarius, we've got that air trine. Now, Jupiter, there's a huge shift of energy when Jupiter turns direct. It's like the returning of the king. And it's very powerful to note that Mercury and Jupiter will turn direct together on the same day, November 11th, 1 year from the very confusing, duplicitous election in the US that still has not been resolved. And but if we think about it, it's like this breakdown and demolition of all the old structures so that we can build new structures. That is maybe this election issue is on the forefront. What if we come to learn that all of the elections all over the world have been stolen for the last period of time in our history? And then what do? Total chaos. So it's interesting because we're all calling and wanting this truth to come forward, but the ramifications of this truth is quite profound. And that comes back to the revelation of the light, which is you, supernova soul, and your ability, because of what you've been through, because of your devotion, because of your truth and light, your soul that nothing can stick to, ultimately, you have the ability to be here and hold this piece of presence, this knowing that God wins, that this is a spiritual revolution. So that's where this Mercury and Mars, both in Libra, can really serve us, because we've got Venus and Scorpio and Black Moon Lilith activated, and it's like, the deep darkness, we gotta, and go up against the man, but, we can do this harmoniously. So Mercury trine Jupiter, beautiful, beautiful trine. They come together 3 times, once on the this equinox, and then on the 3rd of October, and the third one, 11/21. November 21st. So very, very powerful. So the first one happens when Jupiter's retrograde, Mercury's still direct. The second one, October 3rd, is when they're both retrograde. And then the last one is when they're both direct. So, wow, very powerful. And but that's bringing this air trine, this energy of the Renaissance. And the Renaissance comes with a new vibrational, the air, right? Expression, vibration, truth. But harmonized. Is this why it's taking so long? So we also have a very profound trine happening, Mars now in Libra. So Mars is the warrior, and in Libra, it's about the art of war. It's about fighting without fighting. And this is the key to everything right now. And so Mars in Libra is lending a hand to Mercury in Libra going through this journey and going up against that square with Pluto, right? And Mars will go on to make that that square with Pluto in October. So Mars is come in a trine leading up to this for the Pisces full moon and leading up to the equinox. Mars makes a trine with the North Node in Gemini, Mars in Libra, North Node in Gemini, and then comes in after this equinox, comes into a trine with Saturn at 7 degrees Aquarius, Black Moon Lilith at 7 degrees Gemini, and Mars coming in at 7 degrees Libra. So very, very powerful. And that exact trine between Saturn and Black Moon Lilith is really profound. At 7 degrees, 7 is the perfect number. It's the number of Christ consciousness, and 7-7 and 7-7-7 here together. Now, that happens just as Mercury is turning retrograde. That grand air trine. But this grand air trine, so we got Black Moon Lilith in Gemini about expressing the deepest, darkest, unresolved things, specifically around the feminine, and bringing it all into the light. And then the Saturn, how to build in the Aquarian age. And then Mars coming in with the art of war, warrior. So very powerful. It's saying it's the light of truth, the healing of the darkest dark, which is associated with feminine, the distortion of the feminine. A lot of the whole dark, nasty stuff we have to learn about really comes from a corruption of a dark mother figure of the feminine, right? And it's like maybe that's got to all get resolved so we can get into the pure energy of the Great Mother and the purified feminine. And this is happening within each of us and our world, as with the sun in Virgo and moving into Libra, but coming to the end of Virgo, this revelation of the planetary healers, this activation and an invitation to the planetary healers to take the stage. That has to do with this Mars North Node activation. That means that Mars is in a sextile to the South Node, Sagittarius, and that's about using our personal power to find our inner balance, harmony, truth, and light, and bring healing to our own psyche as we stand up and be seen and heard, the supernova souls, planetary healers being called to the stage. It's really a second birth. And this trine is speaking to that with this energy, God's perfect number 7-7-7, and the rebirth of Christ consciousness. And where is this happening? Inside each of our hearts. And supernova souls, you're here to lead the way because you have this soul memory of this mystical and spiritual revelation of that Piscean age. So very powerful air trine moving us into this renaissance, but we cannot get there to vibrate at that new frequency while we have these distortions and lies. And what I've found, and I know you're seeing this too, is that sometimes this has been part of the problem, and where you got programmed with low self-worth, is that as of being dedicated to the light and truth, you sometimes have, and in your past lives, it's a very common story, where you were showing up in your truth, and you just being there was revealing the corruption. And then, of course, you got blamed. team scapegoat, and he took it all on. And now is a time where the light is so strong, so powerful. The level of consciousness and the advanced souls embodies on the planet is just like, ugh. And so, you know, the corruption is being revealed on its own. You know, the darkness is being revealed on its own. And this is this rapid healing crisis. The healing crisis doesn't come without the remedy. So the remedy has been given. And it comes back to the same core issue we're talking about. Can we receive the remedy? That it's you in the light, in your heart and soul, in your second birth of this Christ consciousness, right here. This is what you came for. And it's happening. And we're here together, even though you might not feel that way right now, because we've got to make that walk through the wilderness. And there's so much control energy, but this is falling away, you know? So this season, from equinox to solstice, whoa. So much happening. And so let's stick together. And I hope you'll consider joining me for a soul group session for this equinox. Soul group session, what is it? It's a group intuitive session, and you'll get an idea of what it's like to work with me in an individual session where we look at shared past life pictures as a way to get to contractual arrangements, programming, fear programming, offering an opportunity perhaps for a timeline alignment and soul retrieval, and connecting with your soul group and your guides, your clarity, coming into that place of center. All of the work you do at this point, because we're so connected, even though you might not feel that, everything that you do and receive in your presence is offered, you know, for healing in the collective, you know, in the SuperNova Soul Tribe. In particular. So I really appreciate you showing up and doing this with me, showing up, bringing your energy, and in your devotion to these incredibly potent times. The idea of these soul group sessions and the activations is to pay really close attention to the messages of the stars so that we can use that to our advantage, and be present for what's happening here. And whoa, there's so much happening. So I hope you'll consider joining that soul group session, that group intuitive session, and that will be on Wednesday, September 22nd, at 11 a.m. in Mountain Time. If it doesn't work in your time zone, just know that you can catch the replay whenever you can. It's available at the same link as sign up, and the replay is available immediately after the event. So we're working outside of time, and so if you can't make the live, go ahead and catch that replay, and your questions will get answered. You'll feel your energy there as a part of the group, and know that all the work you do right now is offering a positive prayer and message and support to all supernova souls. So, and there's also a Pisces full moon activation on Monday at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. So I hope you'll consider joining that full moon activation, the equinox. Also, often when events come together like this, they're connected. So it'd be great for those of you that are available to be a part of both of these events. So very powerful, potent times. Stick with me. Thank you so much for being with me. It's such an honor to work with you and to feel our supernova light ship growing with every step we take on this journey together in the affirmation of the truth and the light, and holding that in our hearts for this rebirth into the truth of who we are, this second birth, this massive activation into our abundance and potential. Are you ready for that revelation of the light? So I hope to see you there at that Equinox Soul Group Session, and the Pisces full moon activation, the next update. Know we're here together, and thank you so much for making it through all you made it through to be here right now, to answering the call and showing up in your presence. So I look forward to seeing you soon. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.